Hey guys, it's Anna. Welcome to another episode of I Swear We're Not Idiots, the podcast that might just put you to sleep. Today we are talking about how people have committed murders while sleepwalking. There are 35 recorded cases of sleepwalking murders, and we are going to discuss 4 of them today. This episode is made for entertainment purposes only. These are our own opinions and sick humor. There is talk about murder, violent attacks, abuse, and everything else that comes with murder. If that makes you uncomfortable, this episode isn't for you. Viewer discretion is advised. Have you ever sleepwalked?
Yes.
Do you remember anything when you sleepwalk?
Yes.
What do you remember?
Well, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have remembered.
Do you remember, like, in the dream, or do you remember what you're actually doing?
I remember, like, you remember what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
And even though what you're doing is insanity, it makes perfect sense.
That sums the story up great. Have you ever done anything while you were sleepwalking that was, like, embarrassing? Or you regret anything that you did? That you remember? Or that maybe somebody's told you after the fact? Like, yeah, this is what you were just peeing in the hallway.
Yeah, I peed in a laundry basket. And what's crazy is the whole time I was doing it, I thought, I should stop this and go pee in the toilet. And I was like, well, I will once I'm done.
But it made perfect sense.
It made perfect sense. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm peeing here. And I peed in my desk drawer one time. This is when I was a kid.
Well, yeah.
I haven't peed on nothing lately.
So, there are 35 recorded cases of people committing murder while sleepwalking.
I can see that.
The triggers for sleepwalking, this is kind of scary. It's like, it could be genetics, okay? Sleep deprivation, stress or anxiety, medications, environmental factors, like you're in a new place. Obviously, that's like stressful. Medical conditions or like hormones. Like if you're going through menopause, pregnancy, thyroid issues.
Yeah, I think mine's just...
Well, that's stuff that will trigger it. A lot of kids sleepwalk, but apparently a lot of adults do, and some of them commit murder.
Yeah, I think it's just how, like, sometimes I just be sleeping, I don't know, on a level that's, like, next... I don't know, it's crazy. Like, I'll be falling asleep and start sleepwalking as I'm falling asleep.
That's crazy.
I start saying things that don't make sense. Or if I'm watching like a YouTube video as I'm falling asleep, I'll start like living out the video in real life, and like I'm in the video.
Like as an
I've
adult.
even texted people as if I'm in the video.
Yeah.
As if what's happening in the video is actually happening to me at that moment, and everyone's like, "What in the hell? What's happening?"
Okay, I knew I wanted to talk about this with you because I know that you used to sleepwalk, so I want to see like if and I got 4 stories. I want to see how possible these would be, or if they just like trying to get away with murder. So the first recorded case was in 1846. Albert Terrell, I think that's how you pronounce it. So he lived in Massachusetts with his wife and 2 kids. He was unfaithful and often frequented the brothel in Boston. He fell in love with a prostitute that worked at the brothel. Maria was her name. He ended up leaving his wife and moving to Boston to be closer to Maria. He wanted her to give up her profession of prostitution and be with him. They ended up living together, but she would not stop being a prostitute. On the night of October 27th, a fire broke out in the brothel. The madam, the owner of it, went to get the girls out. When she came to Maria's room, Maria was murdered. Her throat was slit from ear to ear with a straight razor. It was so brutal that she was almost decapitated. There were no eyewitnesses to the murder, but Albert was the last one seen with Maria. I think the thing was like, oh, she just tried to commit suicide. But nobody ever tries to commit suicide by almost decapitating themselves.
Yeah, and then you got to think about the fire.
Yeah.
Like if it was just she's deceased, then okay, maybe. Mm-hmm. But then you also set a fire. Like I've had some elaborate sleepwalking, but it's never been that elaborate. It's never been like beyond a few dumb steps of like hey, it's 2 a.m. I'm going to the park. Mm-hmm. I know where the door is, but I never made it out the door.
Yeah. Albert was arrested in December in New Orleans. So he fled Boston to New Orleans.
No, he's guilty.
He was charged with murder and arson. He said he was accused of setting 3 fires to the brothel. His defense, he is a habitual sleepwalker and murdered her under the influence of a nightmare. So the jury deliberated for about 2 hours and they found Albert not guilty.
What?
So, also, this is the first case. This was 1846. Sleepwalking was not studied, and there was really nothing really known about it, except for some people sleepwalk. So, it was, back then, they're like, yeah, it could happen. So, let's go to the next story. This is in 1987. Kenneth Parks. He lived in Canada. On May 24th, Kenneth drove 14 miles to his in-laws' house. He entered the house with a key and took a tire iron and bludgeoned his mother-in-law to death. He then attacked his father-in-law, choking him. He unsuccessfully killed him, so the father-in-law survived. He then got back in his car, covered in blood, and drove to a nearby police station. He confessed, saying, "I think I just killed 2 people." At the trial, the father-in-law could not identify his attacker. Kenneth was put on the stand and stated all he remembers is going to sleep, then waking up to his mother-in-law's bloody face. The defense was he was sleepwalking. Kenneth was under too much pressure from gambling debt, he lost his job, and has a history of sleepwalking. After 9 hours of deliberation, the jury acquitted Kenneth.
I just think there's too much there. It's just too elaborate.
The thing that got me is he drove 14 miles.
Yeah, that's a long way. Like, again, I mean, I can only speak from my experience. Like, I peed in a laundry basket because it was round, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a toilet. And I was dreaming, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain when you're sleepwalking. I don't remember all of them, but, like, it's never that elaborate. Like, at one point, I remember sleepwalking that I was in a building that was collapsing, so I was in the corner of my bed with one hand on this wall, one hand on the other wall, straining so hard to keep this building from collapsing that it woke people up in the house, and they came to check on me. But like that's the extent of it. Like it's never like you're moving far, you're getting in a car and plotting things out, and like how do you even drive 14 miles and then just know where the police station is as you're sleeping? Like,
well,
who
no,
knows
I
where
think
their local police
the thing
station
is he said that he woke up to his mother-in-law's bloody face. So he woke up after he killed her.
All right, yeah.
And then drove to a police station saying, I think I killed 2 people. But I thought he killed or tried to attempt to kill the father-in-law after the mother-in-law. And that's what really, like, that one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm sleepwalking. It could be a mental breakdown because of everything that happened, but I don't think it was sleepwalking.
Okay, we'll go to 1997. Scott Flatter. Scott and his wife were devoted Mormons. One day in January, now this is in Arizona, so January it's like 50 degrees out there. One day in January, Scott's neighbor heard a commotion next door and peered into Scott's backyard. The neighbor saw Scott drag his wife into the backyard. He stood over his wife's body and headed to the garage. He headed to the garage to get gloves. He came back, pushed her in the pool, and held her head underwater. She did not resist. The neighbor also saw Scott motion to his dog to lay down, and that's a possible sign of consciousness, like, hey, lay down. Oh, police discovered Scott stabbed his wife 44 times before drowning her. His defense was sleepwalking. The story goes he went to go fix the pool pump in his sleep, and his wife went to go stop him, and he attacked her. Scott was sleep deprived, he had a history of sleepwalking, and he was unconscious during the attack. Police later found the bloody knife, bloody clothes, boots, gloves, and undergarments stuffed in a Tupperware container hidden in his car. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 2,000 years to life.
2,000?
Yeah, that's what it said. 2,000 years to life. I'm like, is he even gonna live more than 2,000?
Yeah, I don't think that's sleepwalking either, because A, you told the dog to lay down. B, you went and got gloves. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a little more elaborate than I would.
The thing is, he hid the evidence.
Hid the evidence.
The neighbor called the police when he saw what was going on.
The fact that they were in a Tupperware in his car tells me that he was planning on getting rid of them, but because the neighbor saw it, the cops got there before he could do anything.
Another thing is he stabbed her 44 times. I think it was in the house, but the story goes that he went to go fix the pool pump, so he was outside to go fix it, and his wife stopped him, and he attacked her. So the attack would have happened outside, not inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think that's sleepwalking. It's too elaborate. Even when I'm in my deepest of in between and I'm like reliving a YouTube video, it's never elaborate enough to even make sense. It's just mumble jumbo that makes sense to me, but to everybody else it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, what?
So our last sleepwalking story happened in 2013. Raymond Lazarine. So just before noon, Raymond called his son at work telling him to come home. I just had a dream. I killed my wife. It wasn't a dream. Raymond shot his wife 6 times, and he was arrested and charged with murder. Of course, his defense was sleepwalking. So his wife's name is Deborah. So he shot her 6 times. His defense, he was sleepwalking. Since he was in a sleep-like state, his actions were totally involuntary. At the trial, one of Deborah's daughters took the stand and stated Raymond was abusive and a heavy drinker. He was also controlling and threatened to kill Deborah many times. Now, the daughter witnessed this. 4 inmates were also called to the stand that were in prison with him, or jail, or however that works. All 4 men claimed that he would sleepwalk both day and night. So, naps and everything like that. They witnessed him sleepwalking.
I would do that too after the fact if I knew it would possibly get me out of the court later.
A sleep study doctor did 2 studies on him, and results were he was a sleepwalker.
Oh.
Raymond was also under psychiatric care and medication, and once he mixed it with alcohol, could have played a part in the violent murder. Raymond was found guilty and sentenced to 75 years and was ordered to pay a $75,000 fine.
See, but I feel like that guy might have actually been sleepwalking.
See?
But I think he was drunk walking.
Drunk walking, sleepwalking, yeah, that's 2 different things.
I think he maybe got drunk, passed out, and then started sleepwalking while he was still drunk. Which maybe that has an effect on it. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been studied.
I don't know.
I feel like it should have because of that case.
That's a really good point.
Because if you're normal sleepwalk, it's one thing. But if you fall asleep drunk and then wake up 2 hours later while you're still drunk and then start sleepwalking, does that change things? I don't know.
Wow.
But the fact that he was a confirmed sleepwalker tells me that...
Mm-hmm. This is the first one that I read. Like I said, there's 35 cases that, like, when I was reading, I was like, oh my god, that guy totally could have been sleepwalking. Or that one totally was not sleepwalking.
See, the others were too elaborate. This one was, like, you could just have the gun by your bed.
Yeah.
You wake up sleepwalking, you're drunk, maybe you're angry because you were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what you're thinking. You grab the gun, shoot her. And as you sober up a little bit, you're like, oh my god, was that a dream? Did that really happen? Mm-hmm. So then you call somebody saying, hey, I think I just dreamed this. Like, and I'm still half asleep, so I'm not sure this is real. Like, it would make sense to call somebody to come and confirm, like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of believe that one.
Yeah.
And don't sleep and walk.
Don't sleep and walk.